Yeah.
How would your best friends describe you?
Uh,
I just know the answer to that question in my head. That's why.
Funny and wild. It's like I'm losing it.
I mean, with all that you've gone through, what have you found out about yourself, would you say?
It's wonderful to be so wanted, to be making such a difference.
you have got the most amazing audience.
Don't I? I
You can't obviously just go and sit in the bar and be
know. I guess I could.
You talked about Dolly, and it's funny, you said a thing when I was watching you on stage last night, and it's so true. And anytime I go and interview Dolly in Nashville, you mention Dolly's name, and every single person says one word: love.
Yeah.
It's a magical thing, isn't
Yeah.
it? Until you've got one.
And I was saying last night, remember I told everyone that anyway, if you don't like Dolly, you're weird.
Aretha, it's so great to see you.
Thank you.
You're looking wonderful
Wonderful
too.
to see you.
Oh, it's great to see you. Congratulations on this album.
Thank you.
When was the first day when you were a child? Did you think, oh my goodness me, I've got these pipes, I've got this voice? Was there?
I don't know if I had a wow moment. It was just kind of gradual, I think. My mentor coming up was Clara Ward, of the famous Ward singer.
Start your week with me and Ross only on Daybreak.
Thanks, Brittany.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No.
Welcome back to the conversation with Max Carter. Today's guest is someone I wanted to meet for a very long time, and I'm thrilled to have Ross King joining the show. Hi, Ross.
Hey, Max. Thank you so much. I'm absolutely delighted to be here. Delighted to be anywhere.
I still remember the first time I saw you, Ross. I once lived in Snowdon National Park in Wales for the summer,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
I have
yeah.
a thing. It's beautiful in there, isn't it?
Beautiful. Yeah.
And I have a thing for waking up early. And I remember I turned on the TV and I see you for the first time. And I was like, who is that guy? That energy, that smile, that humor. I was the biggest fan ever since, you know.
Oh, thank you, Max. That's like, well, you are the one. You are the one and only then. So it's great to see you.
Let's start it off easy. I have great feelings for Los Angeles, and you
Yeah.
lived in LA ever since the early 2000s, I believe.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
would you describe LA? And do you have anything you'd like to share about the city?
Wow. I think it's a wonderful place. I absolutely love it. America has been incredibly kind to me. I've loved my time here. It's a fun place. It's exciting. It's silly. You know, I always say that it's full of silly, overachieving people. So that's why I'm here. It's like they embrace me. Oh, you're silly. You're overachieving. Come here. Come and be in this place. But I think it's also one of the most wonderful can-do places in the world. You know, there's it's certainly changed, I would say, Max, in the past few years, and got a little bit negative in some areas. Like, I think almost the world has become a little bit negative, but it's still one of those places where you can do things and people will go for it. That's what I love as well. It's a case of, if you want to act, you can come here, you can act. You want to write, you can write. And people don't really discourage things as much here, and they encourage things. And I love that. I love the positivity of this place. So, yeah, I think it, and of course, the sun shines basically all year round. And I know people often talk about that in a sort of cliched way, but I think it's so true that the sun just makes you more vibrant. It makes you want to do things. It makes you want to get out, want to exercise when you can. And so I just love the positivity. So yeah, that's it. I love the place.
Do you have a favorite place in LA?
I have so many favorite places. I live right underneath the Hollywood sign, which, as a daft boy from Glasgow, to waking up every morning and see that sign makes me smile every time, because I never dreamed really that one day I would be here and I would live here under the shadows of the Hollywood sign. So that's quite amazing. And yeah, I mean, there's very few places that I don't like. The beaches are amazing. I've actually just spent the weekend down at Laguna Beach,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is beautiful and laid back and kind of reminiscent of a British seaside town. You've got that hill that comes down, then you've got the little beach at the bottom. So how I tend to think a lot of British seaside towns. So it's beautiful. The hills are amazing. You know, they often say, you know, you can ski. You can ski up in Big Bear or and during the you know during the in the morning, and then you know drive back down, and then you can surf in the afternoon.
For
It's
sure.
quite amazing that you can actually do those things.
What a
So
life.
yeah, exactly. The old living my best life.
Do you have a favorite like restaurant or?
Oh my goodness me, I have so many. That's another thing where you're completely spoiled. Just near where I live is the Beechwood Village Cafe, which has now been made incredibly famous because Harry Styles put it in one of his songs. And so you get so many people there. It's very Instagrammable. You see loads of people hanging around outside and then sometimes going in. And if you call the restaurant now, you get Harry singing his song that's made really famous. So it's a really cute little place. And there's so many wonderful restaurants. You've got great hotels here. You've got one of my favorites is down in Santa Monica, the Fairmont Hotel down there, and the Fig restaurant there is beautiful. The Cara Hotel, which is fairly new here in Los Feliz near me. There's just so much and so many great restaurants going on here. So again, completely spoiled for choice. Lacking in money, I am, but spoiled for choice.
And I think you mentioned, you know, the world became so negative, you know, and we need people like you, personalities like yourself, you know, just shining at us in the morning. Did you always have that personality? Did you always have that energy?
Very much so. I'm really lucky. I'm very much the glass is half full, Max. Always have been. And it comes from my mum and dad. You know, we were a really tight, close-knit family, myself, mum, dad, my sister. And we're all very much like that. And we were brought up that way, which was, you know, enjoy your life. You know, we're very fortunate in most respects. And I think with everything that everyone's been through, I think if you wake it up in the morning and you feel okay, that's the most incredible bonus to your day. And I think we all have to really make sure that we enjoy as much as we can do now. And just realize how, you know, if you've got your health, that's the biggest thing. You know, people go on about money and fame and fortune, etc. But as we all know, that if you've got health, that's the biggest thing in the world. So I always think that, you know, my dear old dad used to say a very funny Scottish expression. He used to say, every day above the ground's a good one, which is basically every day above the ground is a good one.
It's a good saying.
It is. So I've taken that to heart. And again, yeah, I'm not only am I the glass is half full, I'm always the glass is overflowing. And yeah, that's just how I have a laugh every single day, Max. You know, and even through some, you know, tougher times, I still have a laugh because that gets me through. So I feel, but I also feel very fortunate that I am that kind of person because I know that it's not natural for a lot of people to be that way, and I really do feel fortunate that, you know, what you see in the TV is what you get. So I'm quite lucky. I don't have to put on an act or anything like that.
Yeah, that's actually was one of my questions. Are you the same person off TV?
Yeah. Sadly, yes. Yes, my friends would go, yes, but at least when you're on the TV, we can switch you off. You can't do that when you're sitting in my front room. Yeah, again, just so lucky to be that person, and you know, to get involved in the business at such a young age, and for that really to be encouraged to be who I am and who I still am. It's just, I feel very fortunate. You know, so it's nice if I go off and do an acting role where you are being somebody different. But it's great that the main bulk of my work just involves me being me. So yeah, lucky boy.
Yes, you are. I mean, a small smile goes a long way, honestly. It's just a habit. For me, sometimes, you know, as you said, laugh a lot. You know, sometimes I walk in the store, I feel like a crazy guy, honestly. But when you smile to others, they smile you back. So, you know.
It's so true. And actually, one of my best friends, you know, people make jokes about people having their resting face. And I said to him, he said, why do people talk to you more? Why do people kind of like you a bit more? And I said, well, I think part of it is because, again, as you were saying, Max, you know, you've got a wonderful, happy, smiley face, that it can be infectious. And he is a happy person, but it's just his resting face is quite mean looking. And so I've encouraged him at times when he comes over with his wife from London, that when we go out, that he will smile in the supermarket, or when the waiter or waitress comes across, immediately smiles. And it has made a difference. I think you're so right there, Max, that if you smile, it can be infectious, and it's much harder for people to react negatively if you're, kill them with kindness. That's what I say.
That's what I say. That's a very good phrase. It's a very good song too.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes I'm wondering, could the world survive 2 Maxes or 2 Rosses?
Let's hope it could. Let's spread that happiness throughout the world.
Let's do it. We're on the same mission. I love that. Your career is just something else.
Oh, well.
You've obviously been a long time LA correspondent for ITV. You appeared on CSI, hosted radio shows. You even voiced Jenkins for a Star Wars game. That's incredible. On top of that, you've got a fantastic personality, great looks, I might add. What do you think contributed the most to your career in show business?
Wow. I would say the word that I always use is tenacity. And I think being tenacious is the big thing. Is going after things. I often refer to this, that my mum, I always thought, gave me the very best advice, which was, she said, just do your best. That's all you can do. And it's so true. And once you realize what that entails, though, I'd go off to play, in a football game, and my mum would go, do your best, son. And I'd be like, why would I not do my best? But then you realize it's the things that help you do your best. So if I was playing football, was I training? Was I practicing? Was I eating right? Was I getting enough sleep? And I think that, especially when you come to LA, which can be a really brutal town, as you know, it can set people back a lot. But what I always think is, if you go for an audition and you do your best, you've read the lines, you've worked out where your character's coming from, where they're going, and do as much as you can, and then you go in, do your best, and walk out. And George Clooney was a great person for saying that in auditions, they don't take anything away from you. You go in with nothing, you might come out with nothing, but that's all it is. So don't put too much on it. But if you go in and you go, I've done my best, you cannot do more than that. And that's what I always remember Mum saying, just do your best. That's all you can do. And I think then you come home, and it's a bit like the old Shakespearean, to thine own self be true. If you've done your best, nothing else you can do. And if that's not good enough for them, there we are. You can't do it anymore. So just, relax and rest in that knowledge.
It could actually be applied to so many things in life, even like interviews, like job interviews for folks. That's very well put, to be honest. I love it, because you're really not losing anything.
No, that's it. Exactly.
You're actually gaining experience.
Exactly. That's exactly it. So, you take from it whatever you can. Maybe there will be a job at the end of it. Maybe there won't be. But if you can take anything out of it, and even I always think as well, it's the bad experiences. When I think in my life, the times when I've been doing stuff, or you've been doing a gig and you've been on stage and it hasn't gone well, or you haven't sung as well as you wanted to, or the jokes fell flat, or whatever, you gain from that experience as well, and then what to do when you're in that situation. And for so many people, experience is the most incredible thing. And a lot of the time, you don't know you've got experience until you're in a situation and you go, right, I know how to get out of this, or I know how to deal with it. That's experience. And that's the great thing of having been around for a while and doing so many different things. And I think that, you should do as many different things as you can, because it's amazing in the years what things you will use again, the experience. Excuse me. I think Johnny Carson, who was probably the doyen of talk show hosts out here for many, many years, always said, whatever you learn or whatever joke you hear, you will use it at some point. And I think it's so true. If someone says, ride a unicycle, and you're like, why? And guaranteed at some point in your life, you will be doing some video and someone will be saying, well, we want to do this outside a circus. Can anyone ride a unicycle? It's the madness, but you'll go, yes. And that's why I think that you should do as many different things as you possibly can. And I feel really lucky that I've, in my career, I've written books, I've been in movies, I've been in West End musicals, I've hosted TV shows. I've been in American TV. I've been so lucky to have been able to do as many different things, and that's what I love. I still love, trying new skills. And even if you're just doing little bits of it, I played the Laugh Factory, did some stand up there, and it's not something that I want to do all the time, but it really helped me in terms of when I'm hosting other things, when you're only doing maybe 2 or 3 jokes, but you're doing the Laugh Factory, you've got to do like 15 minutes, and you've got to do 15 minutes, whether it's going well or not. So just all the things that you learn from improv class. I'm not a dancer, but I like to kind of move. So going to movement classes, anything, it's the experience. And I think back at school when you were doing things like the debating society or the drama society or running the school discos, all the things all help in this amazing life.
For sure. Yeah. What was the most challenging thing, I guess?
Wow. I think playing Frankenfurter in the Rocky Horror, the Rocky Horror, the Rocky Horror Show. That was doing that musical in the UK. That was a big challenge, a big ask, because not only are you singing a lot, you're moving a lot, but also the audience, especially in Britain, heckle you. And as Frankenfurter, the main character, you've got to put them down with one-liners. And if you don't put them down, you can sense the audience thinking, oh, we could get on top of this. So, that first week when you're trying to just remember your lines, remember the songs, and then you're suddenly having people shout things out and you're trying to hit them back. It was one of the most amazing experiences, but I wouldn't change it at all. I loved every minute of it.
I love it. And in 2018, you received an MBE from Her Majesty the Queen, and I know it's been a big part of your life in that sense, right? And how did that experience change you, and what do you remember about that point of your life?
Wow, I remember so much about it, really clear. My dad and my mum were great workers for charity, did lots and lots of wonderful things quietly behind the scenes. And I used to say to them, you should get a medal from the Queen. You should get, an MBE. And my dad always said, oh, people like us don't get these things. So when I knew that I was going to get it, and I was getting it for broadcasting and the arts and for charity, to get it for 3 different things was amazing. And to know that the Queen was going to present it to me. And I just thought sadly, Mum and Dad had passed by the time that I went to get it from the Queen. But I just thought this is really for them, because they did so much. And it was the most wonderful day. It was the second time that I'd met the Queen, which was really lovely. And she was just great. She's a really funny lady. People don't realize sometimes how funny she is. And she's got this most beautiful smile. And, when I walked forward and they announced, and she said, oh, you've come a long way. And I said, in my career or just today? And she said, well, both. And then she said, have you come over especially for this? And I said, yes. I said, this might just be another day for you, Mom, but for, me and my family that are here today, this is, the biggest day of our lives. And she was great. And then I was very lucky that people sometimes maybe don't realize that they put a little pin on your lapel so that she just places the medal on it, so she doesn't have to pin it on. And then she chats, and they say she might chat with you, she might not. But what they say is when her hand comes up to shake your hand, that's the end of it. You can't keep talking. She will, and if you don't move, she will gently sort of push you back, because people do get a bit frozen, a bit starstruck, obviously. And
yeah.
And so the minute I saw her hand coming up, I just said, please, may I say to you, Mum, thank you for being the most incredible monarch. Because I think whether or not you like the royal family, don't like the royal family, you've got to look at this woman who has just been remarkable. And so I just wanted to say thank you. And it was so lovely, that smile on her face. And we captured that moment on video and on a camera, which was just such a lovely bit for me. So I feel really fortunate.
I love it. It's an amazing story, Ross. And I've actually been there during the Jubilee celebration in London.
Amazing.
And I haven't had a chance to see her for a second. And the crowd went wild. It was absolutely amazing. one in a lifetime, really. It's just fascinating. And you've interviewed so many iconic superstars. You've met so many amazing people. Aretha Franklin, Lady Gaga. It's absolutely incredible. And I actually heard you met Charlie Chaplin when you were 7.
Yeah,
And
well, I think I might actually been even younger. Yeah, I was on holiday in Nairn in Scotland, up towards the Highlands, and he used to go there. He's a very, very old man. He didn't look like the Charlie Chaplin that a lot of people think of, with the bowler hat and the moustache and the twirling of the stick. But it was, again, those moments when you think, oh my goodness me, when I was so young, and then, to come, full circle, as you're saying, people like Aretha Franklin, who I managed to get to sing to me, and that incredible voice, and she's just, like a couple of feet away, and to hear that voice there was just phenomenal. And people like, Gaga, great fun. The George Clooney's, The Rock, Julia Roberts. I'm so blessed to have met these people and to chat with them and have fun with them. I am like that little kid from Glasgow that's been plucked from in front of his TV set and then sucked in and then put in there, and then off you go, and you're like, wow, am I really here? Am I really doing these things? You've probably heard me say I use the word lucky a lot, and it's true. I feel incredibly lucky. Too blessed to be stressed is one of my great mottos in life, and I really do feel that way.
do you think it makes you enjoy it more because you came from somewhere else?
Yeah, I definitely think there is that, and I think there's also, I when I came out here and I went back to study acting for about 3 years, and one of the classes was an improv class, and then another class was for auditioning, and it was really interesting. In the auditioning class, they taught you to do 3 things when you go in for an audition, and it can be any 3 things. And I think this is a really good thing in life, Max, that you do 3 things. So, for example, I'll go in and I'll look at the person who's auditioning me, and I'll look, because I've got big earlobes, and I'll look at their earlobes and see how they relate in size to mine. And then I'll look at my shoes and I'll think, how clean are they? I'll give myself mark out of 10. And then maybe I'll look at their eyebrows and see how close their eyebrows are together. But if you do any 3 things, and you can do this if you just go and have a coffee with a friend, do 3 things, and suddenly you will be present in the room. So rather, we're all caught up in, phones and everything else that goes on with social media. But if you do 3 things, you center yourself and you're present in the room. And suddenly everything becomes much clearer. You will remember things. You will notice things in the room that you would never have done before. And I think I loved that so much, I thought, I'm going to apply that to my life. And that's what I do. Because, you think about it when we were kids, say Christmas was coming and you're like, oh, only, 20 sleepovers till Christmas. And you wish that time away rather than thinking, wow, there's 20 sleepovers till Christmas. How great. And then tomorrow there'll be 19. But you almost wanted it to pass. You just wanted it to be Christmas Day or whatever. And I think that we can go through life a bit like that. So what I want to do is I want to make time stand still as much as I can. And I think when you're present in whatever it is you're doing, you can really enjoy it.
Wow, it really made me think for a second. It is important to be present. Yeah, I love it. And sorry, it was really.
That's right, you were being present.
Yeah, I was present. My next question is about memorabilia, and I know you're collecting some. And what are some of your most favorite and newest additions to your collection?
Oh, right. Well, actually, you can see up behind me. So
It looks cool.
So that's from Greece. That's signed by John Travolta, Olivia Newton-John, and then below that, those are the words to Gary Barlow, and Take That. It's just like unbelievable. Right, see if I can hold on. I'll just see if I can. I will show. Stand up here, and you'll see my shorts. There we are.
I'm in shorts too.
And it's the classic #1 Take That song, Back for Good. So Gary very kindly for my birthday wrote out the words of that. And then behind me, the gold disc, and the other discs come from my radio days and my TV days when we get presented with things like that. And then through there, you can see other stuff on the walls. That one there is a Lincoln Townley David Bowie piece. He's a brilliant artist. So yeah, and then even on the door over there in the office, that's the when I played in the musical Summer Holiday at Hammersmith Apollo, and that was on my dressing room door, my name tag on there. So yeah, I love collecting anything at all. It's just great fun. And then I've got my new book, which comes out in September. So this is with Shari Lowe, who's a great writer. We wrote a couple of books, and now what we've done is we've taken the first two books and we've updated them, and then we've written a brand new book that will come out next year. So The Rise, which is the updated version of the first book we wrote, comes out in September. Then January next year is The Catch, and then May next year is The Fall, which is the final book in the trilogy. So yeah, anything. I just love things, you know.
I love things too. Am I getting a signed copy?
Yeah, absolutely. You will indeed.
All right. I can't wait to read it. It's amazing. And when you were younger, you actually had a different path in mind. You wanted to be a professional soccer player. I
Yes.
have to touch on that. And on your website, you actually described yourself as a failed pop star.
Oh, I have a lot of failures in my life. The football was the big thing. That was what I really I thought I was going to do. I mean, I think I was going to be okay to be some kind of a professional footballer, but not a very good one. But I think I was very lucky that I realized at a certain point in my life that was maybe not going to be the thing for me. But it was great fun, you know. I mean, I still play soccer, and I still get to, you know, play in some charity games and play with people that were heroes of mine. So again, it's almost like I got to combine the best of both, that I could still play a little bit and then play with people that I just, you know, adored as a fan. So I do feel lucky like that. But yeah, I was never going to be very good, but I recognized it.
And like, how do you decide to pursue other things in life? And how do you really approach failures? At what point do you realize it's not going to work out?
Yeah, I think, you know, going back to what I was saying earlier on there, Max, about to thine own self be true. You know, if you look at things and think, okay, you know, and again, you know, football, ridiculously competitive world, and you could see that you had to be of that standard to be very good, and I knew within myself that I wasn't going to be. And it also, I don't think I had the passion for it, and I think that if you have a passion for things, that makes such a huge difference, because you really want to go for it. It's a bit like not having a plan B. Because if your passion is plan A, then you just go for it and you will do whatever it takes. And hopefully that will carry you through to reach your dreams, which kind of has, you know, happened for me.
Passion for life too.
Yeah, passion for life, exactly. So that's,
No plan B.
Why not? Yeah, exactly. No plan B. Oh dear, if there was a plan B, it's all gone horribly wrong.
Wow. What a great conversation, Ross. Any advice for younger people out there? So obviously you mentioned being present, right? Just enjoying it all, having that sense. Do you? What about your intuition? Tell me a bit more about that. And
Intuition's good. I think that you know, it's interesting when Shari and I were writing with the book again, and we were saying there's an interesting thing. The first blush is there for a reason. So if you're writing something, whether it be songwriting, whether it be book writing, just an idea, it's that first blush and you go, oh yeah, and that's there for a reason. And then sometimes you go back and you rewrite things and wonder why it's not feeling quite as good. And I think it's because sometimes just that, if you're saying intuition, you think, yeah, that first blush really makes a big difference. And I think, going back to what I was saying about being tenacious, that's the thing. You know, you've really got to work hard at whatever it is. Go for it, chase it, do everything that you can. And if you get no's, ignore them. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And that's what will help. And especially, I find in Los Angeles, you know, tenacity is the big thing. And I've seen people here, you know, you take someone like George Clooney, who had made, I think it was something like 60 pilots. before he actually got a show and got it away. And he was a little bit later on in life when he got it. And, then you become one of the biggest movie stars in the world. So he was tenacious. And I think that's a great example for anyone. And the same, I started off as a kid at 15, 16 in hospital radio and then in local radio in Glasgow and did everything. Made the teas, the coffees, the photocopying, ran in with the scripts, rigged the soccer ground, threw the cables over the stanchions, everything. Do whatever you can, but again, be tenacious and enjoy every single bit of it because it's an incredible journey. I'm now, I'm lucky. Again, I'm in the Hollywood Hills. It's amazing, but my journey still continues and I'm enjoying every single bit of it.
For sure. And I think touching on competition, I think because the entertainment industry is so open in that sense, I think when you come to the top in any industry, there'll be amazing people. Everything is extremely competitive when you come to a certain level.
Yeah.
And that's something you see. How do you stand up from that competition? Or you really just being yourself and finding a passion, go for it?
That's it. Be yourself and do your best. And again, that's the simple thing. If you do your best, you cannot do any better. And that's the simple thing. So even if you're at the Olympics and you're doing your best, then that's it. If someone beats you, then they've done their best and their best is better than yours. But if you do your best, at the end of the day, you've done it for yourself. You've gone, okay, I've done my best. I've done all that I can do. And that's it. And I think especially in the business of show, where a lot of times it's just a personal thing that you go in for an audition. It's not that you weren't good. It's just that they wanted someone else. They wanted someone, that looked like that, or someone that looked like this. They wanted somebody else. It seems personal, but it's not that personal. Excuse me, it's not that personal. But if you just do your best, that's it.
I love it. And I guess my last question for today.
Yeah.
How would your best friends describe you?
I
just know the answer to that question in my head. That's why that was funny.
My friends do have a nickname for me, which is Golden Balls. And they sometimes say if I ever fell into the River Clyde, I would come out with a salmon in my mouth. And I think I am ridiculously lucky. But again, I think being tenacious, I think working hard will bring you that luck. And years and years and years ago, there was an amazing golfer called Gary Player. And I think he may have been the very first person to say, I'm very lucky. But the harder I practice and the more I practice, the luckier I get. And I think that's a really true thing. So, yeah, I think you've got to hope that you have luck on your side a lot of times. But again, the more you practice, the harder you work. Sometimes that pushes luck a little bit your way too. Sometimes. You just got to try everything.
I love it. Well, lucky and blessed we are. I can actually, it's nice to meet like-minded individuals. And it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you today. The book comes out in September.
End of September, The Rise is the first one, the updated version, and then we've got The Rise, then we've got The Catch, and then we have The Fall, the brand new one that will end the trilogy in May next year. So yeah,
I'm getting a signed copy. I'm starting.
You are indeed, exactly. There we are.
Put it there, and there we are.
Space there for it.
Ross King, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Max.